The stones whisper again. The wind carries secrets of love, war, and fate, and somewhere in the shadows of time, a choice waits to be made. Outlander's story is not over. It has only grown deeper, darker, and more unrelenting. The screen is dark at first. The faint sound of wind grows louder, curling around the silence like a memory that refuses to fade. Then a low heartbeat begins, a steady drum that feels ancient as if echoing from centuries long gone. The mist slowly parts, revealing the rolling green highlands. Their beauty is haunting, bathed in silver light yet carrying a quiet sense of sorrow. The narrator's voice rises, calm but filled with weight. Time is not a river that flows forward. It twists, it bends, it circles back on itself, and some are chosen to walk against its current. The camera glides past stones standing tall and unbroken. Their surface glows faintly, pulsing like a heart alive with history. For just a breath, a hand appears, reaching out, trembling as it touches the stone. In that touch, the past and future merge and sparks scatter like stars breaking free from the night. The screen flashes, a candle flickers in the darkness, its flame dancing as if alive. Then a storm begins to swell, waves crashing against the shore under a sky torn open by lightning. In quick glimpses, we see fragments of lives lived across centuries. A musket raised in battle, a letter sealed with wax, a lone figure riding fast across a foggy plain. These moments pass quickly, almost like dreams, leaving only questions and tension behind. The voice continues. Love is not bound by years, nor is it broken by war. It endures. It suffers. It survives. As these words echo, two hands reach for each other, the skin marked by time and struggle, the hold firm and unyielding. They are never fully shown, only the grasp, the connection that says more than words ever could. The music swells softly now, strings trembling like the edge of a confession. In the distance, a rose drops onto the ground, its petals scattering into the wind. Each fragment seems to carry a memory, laughter in the sun, tears in the rain, the promise of forever whispered in a moment that never fades. The section closes on a quiet beat. The screen fades to black again, but the sound of the heartbeat remains louder now, closer, pulling us deeper into the story. The silence shatters with the crack of thunder. A storm gathers above the hills, turning the sky into bruised shades of gray and black. The wind howls louder, carrying not whispers now but warnings. The heartbeat that once guided us now beats faster, urgent as if time itself is running out. A voice cuts through the noise, lower and sharper than before. The past is not finished with us. Promises broken still demand their price, and shadows once buried rise again. As the words echo, a musket appears, its barrel gleaming in the lightning's flash. A hand loads powder and shot with a calmness that feels colder than war. It is the stillness of someone who knows battle is not a choice, but destiny. The screen flickers with fragments of unrest. A line of soldiers marches through smoke, their faces hidden, their flags torn. Horses thunder across the mud, hooves striking like drums of war. A figure cloaked in shadow stands at a distance, watching, waiting. Their face is never revealed, but their presence sends a chill through the air. The music shifts, heavier now, with drums rolling like distant cannon fire. Quick cuts build the pressure. A letter ripped in anger, ink smeared with blood. A map nailed to a wall with daggers stabbing its corners. Hands clutching rosaries, lips whispering prayers that sound like last goodbyes. Every image is sharp, fleeting, leaving the audience searching for meaning. The narrator's voice softens, almost sorrowful. The battles we thought behind us still bleed into tomorrow, and the choices made in love may yet cost us everything. On screen, two hands part suddenly, fingers slipping from each other as the storm swallows them in darkness. The sense of loss is heavy, lingering, refusing to fade. The drums pound faster now, mixing with distant cries. Shadows of men on the battlefield clash in the smoke, swords flashing like lightning. The chaos is overwhelming, but the camera never lingers long enough for clarity. It is only glimpses, enough to stir dread. The section ends with a haunting moment. A single candle, once strong, burns low against the storm. The flame trembles, bending almost to the point of breaking before flaring up in one last desperate glow. As it fades to black, the voice whispers, "The storm has only begun." The chaos falls silent. From thunder and war, the world suddenly hushes as if holding its breath. In the stillness, only the sound of rain remains, soft, steady, falling against stone and earth. The storm fades into the background, and what remains is something far more powerful than battle. Love caught in the pull of time. The narrator's voice returns, low and steady, carrying both pain and tenderness. What is love if not the thread that ties us through centuries? It survives storms. It endures silence, but even love can bleed when the weight of time is too great. On screen, images pass like fragments of memory, a hand holding a letter close to the chest, the ink blurred with tears. A locket opening to reveal a faded portrait, its edges worn by years of longing. A pair of hands clasped tightly across a wooden table, knuckles white, refusing to let go even as shadows creep closer around them. The music softens into a fragile melody of strings, trembling, almost breaking. Over it, whispers rise, echoes of promises spoken long ago. I will find you, no matter the time. You are my home. Each line fades into the next, overlapping, haunting. The whispers are not anchored to a face. They come from the void, reminding the audience that love in Outlander is bigger than time, bigger than death. A single rose falls in slow motion, its red petals scattering across a stone floor. As they scatter, we see flashes. A kiss under firelight, a hand smoothing over scars, a baby's tiny fingers curling around an adult's thumb. Each moment is fleeting, delicate, but they linger in the heart long after the image fades. The camera lingers on two hands reaching for one another across a divide of darkness. This time they almost touch, but the space between them grows wider as though time itself is pulling them apart. The narrator whispers, "Love is the strength that keeps us alive, and the wound that never heals." The section closes with silence again, broken only by a single heartbeat. Slower now, heavy with meaning. The black screen lingers until the faint glow of the standing stones flickers into view once more. They hum softly like the pulse of time itself, reminding us that the story is not only about war or survival, but about a bond unbroken, even as it is tested beyond its limits. The heartbeat returns, faster, louder, urgent. It pounds like war drums, syncing with the sound of thunder rolling across the highlands. The air grows heavy, charged with the feeling that something vast and unstoppable is coming. The screen flickers, and suddenly we are pulled into a storm of visions. A sword is drawn, its blade catching firelight. A rider charges through smoke, face hidden but resolve unshaken. Letters burn in a hearth, words turning to ash before they can be read. A child's cry pierces the silence, echoing into the night as hands reach desperately to protect what cannot be replaced. The narrator's voice rises, no longer calm but fierce, almost trembling with urgency. The stones are awake. The battle is not finished, and time will demand its price. The words echo like prophecy, each syllable heavy with consequence. The music swells, strings cutting sharp like blades, drums rolling like thunder. Quick flashes collide with the beat, faces blurred in firelight, eyes filled with fear and hope. A map torn in two, rivers of ink spilling like blood. A hand pressed against stone, glowing, trembling before vanishing into nothing. The storm grows unbearable, sound and vision crashing together until the audience is overwhelmed. Then silence, a single breath. And in that breath, the screen glows with the standing stones, brighter than before, pulsing as if alive. The voice lowers into a whisper, haunting, almost intimate. The past calls, but the future waits. When time runs out, what remains? Music surges one final time, and the screen explodes with fast fragments, a kiss stolen in firelight. A blade clashing in battle. A baby lifted into trembling arms. A lone figure stepping through the stones. Swallowed by light. Everything cuts to black on the screen. Words appear in bold silence. Outlander, Season 8. The final chapter begins 2025. The heartbeat slows, softer, fading. Then a final whisper, barely audible, almost like a secret shared only with the viewer. Will love endure when time runs out? The screen is black. No music, no storm. Only the faint sound of breathing, steady at first, then breaking as if someone is holding back tears. Out of the silence, a single whisper threads through the dark. I will find you. The sound stretches into an echo, fading but refusing to vanish completely. For a moment, the audience might think it's over. Then from the blackness, a spark of light flickers. Not fire, not lightning. The glow of the stones. Slow, steady, alive. They pulse once, twice, like the last beat of a dying heart that refuses to stop. The voice returns, softer now, almost like a secret carried across centuries. Every ending is only another beginning. The words linger, carried on a faint hum that sounds like the stones themselves are singing. Images flicker faintly in the dark, more like memories than scenes. A child laughing in sunlight, a woman's hand smoothing fabric with tenderness, a warrior standing alone at dawn staring into the horizon. None of these linger long enough to feel complete. They arrive like half-remembered dreams, slipping away the moment they're touched. Then silence again. Total silence. On the screen, a final line fades into view, not shouted, but carved like fate itself. Outlander. Season 8. The story ends where it began. As the text fades, the heartbeat returns once more, but only for a single heavy beat. Then everything vanishes, sight, sound, breath, leaving nothing but darkness. The darkness stretches long, so long it feels like the end. Then very faintly the sound of pages turning, slow, fragile, like an ancient book being opened after centuries of silence. A candle flickers back into view. Not grand, not dramatic, just a single small flame in a vast ocean of black. Its glow reaches only a little distance, but within that circle of light something rests. A journal. Worn leather, edges cracked. Ink stains marking years of untold stories. The narrator's voice returns softer than before, stripped of thunder, stripped of prophecy. It feels human now, weary but unbroken. We are not only remembered by the wars we fought, but by the love we carried through them. The camera drifts closer to the journal as its pages begin to turn on their own, as if guided by unseen hands. The ink is blurred, the words half faded, but glimpses appear. Hope. Promise. Forever. They flicker and vanish as the pages keep turning faster and faster, until the book slams shut with a sound that cuts through the silence like a blade. The screen goes dark again. And then, almost too faint to notice, a child's laughter echoes in the distance, light, fragile, innocent. It fades quickly, swallowed by the void, but its warmth lingers, leaving the audience unsure if it was real, or only a memory of what could have been. One last line appears on screen, carved in white against the black. Outlander Season 8. Some stories never truly end. The heartbeat does not return this time. Only silence remains. The screen stays black long enough that most would think it is over. The silence stretches, heavy and unbroken. Then slowly a sound begins. Not music, not thunder. The low hum of the standing stones, faint at first, then growing louder, vibrating through the dark like a heartbeat buried beneath the earth. The black fades into the stones themselves. They glow faintly under a pale moon, their edges shimmering as if alive. The camera moves closer. The hum rises, filling the air, each pulse stronger than the last. A shadow approaches, barely visible, just a figure at the edge of the stones, cloaked in mist. The face is hidden, the steps slow and deliberate. They reach out a hand, fingers trembling as they hover just above the stone's surface. The hum turns into a roar, light bursting from the stone as if time itself is splitting open. For a breath, the figure vanishes into the glow. The screen cuts to black again. Then, a single whispered line, raw and haunting. This is not where it ends. On screen, one last message fades in, sharp, unmistakable. Outlander, Season 8, the final chapter. 2025 silence. Total and absolute.